Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SCS podcast. My name is Blake.
And I'm Jonah.
And today we have two very special guests. We have Ramsee, the Harmonious Hype Beast, up in here from the MSM represent. And we've got Reagan, the Cross Country Killa. What's up, HSM?
Oh, thank you. I was so scared. You were about to just introduce Ramsee and leave it for me to try to do a Blake intro for Reagan. I cannot do a Blake intro.
Reagan, the anesthesia person. We were just talking about
has a lot of
wisdom teeth.
Animals, too.
Yeah.
For those who do not know, she is the little sister of our high school intern, Jaden,
Reagan,
a.k.a. the zookeeper.
Little
as well.
Hodge.
So, not the littlest Hodge, though. But anyway.
I said Little Hodge.
Yeah, but not the littlest.
Little Hodge is kind of cool. Has anybody called you Little Hodge before?
All the time.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Might be a little offending, but anyway.
That's true.
Jokes, jerk. Anyway, today we're talking a little bit about anxiety. So this is right now is literally like, I think next week might be finals. So that's around the corner. So I know
If
a
you're not
lot
anxious,
of students,
you should be.
or you might be. Maybe
Yeah.
you shouldn't be. We're not promoting you to be anxious today.
No,
but
no.
anyway, so we just brought some students, just talk to y'all about a little bit about anxiety. So first question, guys. Do y'all think that anxiety is a problem at your high school, middle school?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I have a bunch of friends who suffer with anxiety, and it's really hard to see them go through that problem because I've never suffered with it, so it's kind of like, it's weird. But I know a lot of people in middle school do have anxiety.
Yeah, it's definitely a big problem. Like things at home, and you also pile up like all the work you have at school. It's definitely a big problem. Yeah.
So
sure.
in answering that, like, do you have, Reagan, do you struggle with anxiety yourself at all?
Yeah, not major anxiety, but yeah, definitely sometimes. Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about, I think that's a really cool distinction to make, is that there are some people that everyone at certain times can struggle with anxiety. Like all of a sudden, like you're going to like, let's just say every high schooler who's ever come to the HSM for the very first time, they have the exact same face when they walk in the door if they're alone. Like it's, anyway. And it's like, it's a high schooler, but still you struggle with it because it's a new circumstance. So everyone struggles with some ways, but some people really struggle, and it's like a daily battle.
For sure.
But
Even at the MSM, I was walking around getting ready for the message and trying to meet new kids because, it's our first time back in over a year. So I was like, shoot, this is my first time being the guy. I got so many people to meet. And I was walking from table to table, and I think it must have been something after COVID. There's something in a middle schooler anyway that's so, like, it's a little guarded. But everybody was sitting around. They weren't even on their phones. They were just looking around the table at each other. And I was like, this is weird. And so I would go to the table, and I'd break it up, and I'd get them all talking and everything. And then I'd go to the next table, and I'd look back, and they were quiet again. So it's weird figuring it out right now because we've had so much time, like, at home and by ourselves that it's like we've almost got to figure out how to be social human people again.
Yeah. So we talked about with Jaden in our jealousy time, we talked about your jealousy trap. And like, so Jaden's was like Corvettes. Like when she sees a car, she's like, I wish that was my car. Like
Didn't
that
see
was
that
her trap.
coming.
But do y'all have anxiety traps? Like something that like, as soon as you see it, you're like, okay, I'm anxious about this right now.
It's not something like, okay, I can't go anywhere by myself. Like if someone's like, Reagan, go to the bathroom, I'm like, not by myself.
Which is also a thing across the board. Like a lot of people don't want to go anywhere alone.
You'll figure it out. It's part of growing up.
Blake's like, I went to the bathroom alone today.
Still text my mom. It's like, I did it, Mom. I did it. Successful today.
Sometimes I guess like since I perform and do theater and all that, sometimes if I have to go up there alone and just sing or do like a monologue or something in front of a bunch of people, it does trigger some anxiety. It's really scary, but yeah.
Absolutely. I think
That's
I have
cool,
that
though.
literally. So I have a time with every high school event, like just being honest, where I'm like, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the one where I plan it, and then one or no students show up, and I'm like, what did I do something? Did I miss up something? Did I tell everyone the wrong date or something? Anyway, it's like that's always like I'm like, what if no one comes? And I'm always anxious about it. That's mine.
Mine is school. I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair.
College is a big deal, and it's a complete like 180 switch. Like I'll be super stoked, and then I'll I'll be done with work and I'll call Hannah. I'm like, what's up, Hannah? Like, what you doing? And she's like, I'm just thinking about our speech test we have to do today. Or I'm thinking about midterms. That was yesterday. And I'm like, okay. And I'm off. Like, I'm just completely
I was
off.
happy. Now I'm not.
I'll get it done. But until I get it done, I'm going to be so just not upset. Just I'm going to be flat. I'm just going to be like completely straight-faced sad.
Yeah. And so anxiety is like, it's actually a problem. Like, it's something that is so, it's basically like just a prison for a lot of people because that anxiety, especially like say not wanting to go anywhere alone, like that can be something that will keep you from doing something that you might enjoy. Do you ever see that?
Yes, all the time.
And so like, I know for example, like HSM, I think like some people had never wanted to try out coming for the first time because if you have a friend, it was so much easier for them.
Yeah.
And so that anxiety can keep you from stuff as well.
And you can see the fun that people are having, but you don't want to be a part of it. You don't know how to get into that.
And then also there's that irrational fear because the truth is that a lot of times anxiety is illogical. It's not real. And so a lot of times like you'll see the fun and in your mind it just somehow you believe, but I wouldn't have fun they wouldn't let me have fun with them if I were to go.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just. So do y'all ever have anything that you're just like, you know, that you are really anxious about, and then afterwards you're like, all right, that was nothing?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like when my parents say like, go talk to that person. I'm like, I don't know how. And then I was like, what do you say after you say hey? But like, it ends up being okay. It's just, yeah, I freak out about that. I'm not social.
Yeah, I had the same thing like a couple years ago. I used to be super afraid of roller coasters, and like not just regular roller coasters, but like anything like upside down or super crazy. But I ended up going on an upside down roller coaster, and I didn't know I was going on it because I didn't see the little upside down part when I was looking at it. And then I ended up already getting on, and I couldn't just get off. It was about to go, and then I ended up having the time of my life after it. And I was like, oh, I like to do this. I want to do this again.
When I was a kid, it was my mom's Honda Odyssey. I remember it being in 5th grade, and everybody else's parents were driving. It was right outside of a military base. And so it was a bunch of young military parents who are collecting the biggest paycheck they've had like before, since it's, young enlisted people. And so they were all driving like new Mustangs and like Camaros and stuff. And then my mom's like 2001 Honda Odyssey pulls up, and it's got like, it's a mom car. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting in the mom car. But the stupid thing is that no other kid was looking at my car. They were all worried about the exact same thing with some other part in their life. Everybody has anxiety, and so nobody, like, whenever you walk around and, like, people are looking at this, like, my shoes aren't right today or something, like, I look weird. People are worried about the exact same thing for them. They don't, like, people don't look at you nearly as much as you think they do.
Yeah, I think so. My thing, I kid you not, whenever we first got hired on at the Simple Church, me and Laura went to the mall. And so we had gotten panicked because we were used to having to wear nice clothes all the time. And so they're like, oh, we dress pretty casual. Like, we're just casual. I didn't know that just meant, all right, wear a T-shirt and just pants or shorts and you're fine. Like, no one's ever going to look at your clothes. So we're like, okay, casual. But can we need to dress cool but without looking different than who we are. And so we're like, I'm looking at every shirt and I'm like, is this me? And like, then we go, and the first day, like, I wear like a button down shirt with rolled up sleeves, and I go and I'm like, that's casual. I wear it to church. And I remember Evan saying, dude, why aren't you wearing a T-shirt? Like, you're having to push cases for a mile every single 5 seconds. And like, anyway, it was just nothing.
They were making fun of us when we went golfing. We went golfing with all the old people on staff just because that was like a church thing.
All the rest of the people on staff?
Yeah, pretty much everyone else. And they were making fun of me and Jonah because we were like wearing Vans and jeans, and we were the young like youth guys. And I remember I was in a backswing, and that means like you guys probably know more about golf than I do, but I was in the back. I heard somebody behind me goes, "Is that dude in Vans?" I was like, "Stop! I don't know what I'm doing." Like, this is, and then that was like, okay. Insecurity unlocked. So thanks, dude. I don't know what I'm doing about golf, but that's fine. We'll be
Dad,
the young
we were in a
guys.
golf tournament where on the screen of the golf carts it would say, "Please remember to tuck in your shirts."
Yeah.
Like what? Like
It was
all
the
right.
next level.
Anyway, so there was a lot of pressure there, but anyway, there are a few fixes to anxiety. It's not something that you can just absolutely just instantly cure. You're like, oh, I'm not anxious anymore. Done.
Right.
But so the first thing I noticed was taking a few steps back, because like seeing that your performance whenever you had anxiety kind of thing, or one of them, if you take a step back, did it go well?
I mean, yeah, it always ends up going either how I want it or how I thought maybe it wasn't, like the total opposite, but it always ends up going decently well.
Yeah,
better than I thought it was going to be.
Because there's not, we make this giant problem out of something that's really nothing. And so if you just, that's one of the easiest ways I've found, is just like looking back, all right, it's never done this before. Why would it start now? Like, why would something go wrong now? Like, anyway, and if it does, it'll be fine later. But anyway, just taking that step back is always really good.
Looking at problems for what they are is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you build it up in your mind so high that you forget the problem for what it is. And then if you have just one person, like, that's the other key, is like having people around you who make your problems like appear as what they are. They're like, dude, you're worried about, like, you're on stage and you did your performance and everything, and then after everybody said how good you did, but you were thinking like they were gonna throw stuff at you and boo you and like beat you up after you come
She wasn't
on stage.
thinking that, but now she will think that before
Yeah,
her next
but,
performance.
I mean, that's what you think. You think like, oh my gosh, like they think I'm like a pity vote. Like they put me in this to be the kid, but it's like it's never that way, is it?
No, it's like when, say, like I get in the ensemble, like I don't get the lead, I didn't get what I wanted or something like that, or I have to wear a really weird costume, hairdo, weird makeup, who knows. But like when I was a zebra, I was like, people are going to think I'm looking so weird right now. And then people are telling me after the show, oh my gosh, you did so good. And I was like, oh, okay.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
They didn't walk up and laugh at me. That's good.
Because if you do pretend to be the person that's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm dressed as a zebra, whatever, guys, I'm cool, I don't care that I'm a zebra, then that's the person that they see and they're like, he's not part of the, or she's not a real zebra, she thinks she's too cool to be a zebra. When really, like, when you're stoked to be the zebra, dude, you're the zebra, man, and people love you as the zebra.
If it helps, I was a monkey, and I'm pretty sure Blake was a midget. So
I was a cow. And my
wow, you've been an animal
tail
too.
was a brown sock. But I was Farquaad. That was the most
that's
fun.
the midget I was mentioning.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay,
Well,
and then
I was a king, dude.
and sometimes it's also hard, back to it though, there's also hard to take that step back and see, all right, if it's always been good, that God's always had you in the past, sometimes that's hard to do on your own. And so the other tip that we really do have is that don't go through it alone. If you have that anxiety, voice it to a trusted friend. So do y'all have someone, like, who do y'all talk to if you're anxious about something that you know would be a safety person for you?
I've had this friend for like ever, and she's very chill. I can tell her anything. She won't tell nobody. And anytime I have a problem, I'll tell her, or I'll tell my boyfriend because he's good too. And they just always just find a way to help me and calm me down and just make me look at things in a different perspective.
That's good.
I have my best friend Avery. It has really bad anxiety, and so if I go to her, she's like, "Oh, I've gone through this before, or maybe I have, or maybe she hasn't," and she'll just tell me, like, give me some like really good advice on how to go through it or how to let go of it.
That's absolutely awesome.
That's perfect.
So then our final question, because some people may not have someone that they talk to regularly. Yeah, they know hopefully everyone who's watching this knows that they can talk to us, and their parents and our friends. But what do y'all have to say? Like, what is your advice for someone who struggles with anxiety?
I mean, God has our backs no matter what. We can always trust in Him. If we ever suffer through anxiety, we can always go to Him, pray to Him, and He gave you He didn't give you anxiety for a reason, but if you do suffer for anxiety, you can always go to Him or go to a trusted friend and just pray through it and
That's
keep
good.
your head up. Just ignore the people who are being mean, or just study. I mean, if it has to do with school, just study. Just do your best. I mean, just keep your head up high and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, when I was reading Matthew chapter 6, it was very like, God was like, not God, the person who wrote it, they were like, God takes care of the birds, like, why wouldn't He take care of you? And it's always like, it makes you think, yeah, like, if God takes care of like these little animals that, we don't really think of, like, why wouldn't He take care of you? And I always think like anxiety can be like a good thing, because to me, if you have something you struggle with, then you have to fall back on God for that. So I've always try to look on the bright side about that kind of stuff.
That's really cool that it
Mm-hmm.
puts you in a place where it shifts your perspective to God. That's cool.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Well,
Well,
number one piece of advice I could give would be don't let yourself be in a situation where you need to be anxious. Set yourself up for the best that you can. Like, if you know that you have a lot of school coming up, don't wait for the last minute to
sometimes
it.
you can
I have a problem
avoid
with
your
that.
Yeah.
anxiety.
yeah. If you
But
can't avoid your anxiety, do the best that you can to take those steps to just get out of its way.
and I'm going to give you the last piece of advice that's just to clarify on his piece of advice to say, like, but there are times whenever you'll have anxiety about something that will be worth it. Like, if you may hear Blake's advice and be like, oh, yeah, I can avoid, like, that's why I'm not going to meet these people. I'm not making friends. I'm not talking to these people because I'm going to avoid the opportunity for anxiety. Done.
Right.
But, like, sometimes, like, you can push yourself. Blake's talking about, like, don't just, like, use it as
Talking about like school,
yeah,
work,
like laziness and stuff like that. Yeah.
chores. Yeah.
I talked about 2 weeks ago. But also, like, don't let anxiety rob you from missing out on something that would be awesome.
For
so
sure.
don't let it rob you. Anyway.
Come to church is what we're saying.
Actually, yeah, come to church. That's actually all that we're talking about.
Come to our events. Ramsey's got the MSM Hype Squad shirt on right here.
And Reagan's wearing a
Represent.
shirt.
Yeah.
Tie-dye.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming and talking about anxiety with us.
Thanks for
Been
having
awesome.
us.
Now, also, just to close us out, we'll talk real quick about, we've talked about laziness and we talked about Mother's Day last week. And so if y'all want to check out as well, not just y'all, but everyone, our Simple Church Students YouTube page, we have all that over there right now
Yep.
to check it out. And then
YouTube page. We've got the Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you consume content, we are a part of it. You can find us. We've got our Instagrams at the MSMTV and the HSMTV. Follow us. You can find out everything that we're doing, everything we got coming up. Be a part of the family.
And then we have 2 challenges. Number 1, personally, if you're struggling with anxiety, tell someone, tell a friend, talk to someone. That's on you. But if you want to have a fun thing, comment on our YouTube page or DM us or let us know what is a time when you had anxiety about something that ended up being like a joke after. Like you realized that it was absolutely nothing.
What's the dumbest thing that ever has made you anxious? We
Yes.
want to know.
All right. Until next week, what do we say?
Peace.